All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to this morning's workshop, Sell Online with E-Commerce Tools. I'll start by introducing myself. My name is Fatia Abdul Razak, and in addition to being a Grow with Google trainer, I also own a boutique digital agency here in New York City. Today, I'm coming to you live from my home office in Harlem. I'm so excited that so many of you decided to join us this morning. We actually had over 100 people register, so hopefully at least half of the people who registered actually show up today. This workshop is brought to you by Grow with Google, a program that helps people grow their skills, careers, and businesses by offering free digital skills training and tools, usually in collaboration with organization hosts. And this morning, we are happy to have 3 organization hosts joining us. We have the Tech Incubator at Queens College, Adams-Brown County's Economic Opportunities, Inc., and Brown County Chamber of Commerce. Before we get started, I am going to invite the representatives from these organizations to welcome you guys and tell you about their respective organizations, as well as share any additional programming that they may have that may be helpful to you in the chat. So Araba, do you want to kick things off?
Sure. Hello, everybody. Thank you, Patricia. My name is Ariba Razak. I'm a project manager at Tech Incubator at Queens College. Tech Incubator is supported by New York City Council, and we are here to help local entrepreneurs. Our aim is to help the startup companies and entrepreneurs to build successful tech-enabled companies. We do provide multiple services. I'm just going to put the link in the chat, and everybody enjoy the webinar. Thank you.
Thank you. Lisa, take it away.
Thank you, Patia. Good morning, everyone. My name is Lisa Tumbleson Davis, and I'm with Adams-Brown Community Action Partnership. We have a business department that offers a variety of trainings. We do business plan classes, computer classes, social media trainings, various workshops, and then we're a partner with Google, so we can offer some of these Google trainings as well. I'm also representing the Brown County Chamber of Commerce this morning, and the Brown County Chamber of Commerce is located in Mount Vernon. They promote small businesses. They collaborate with other agencies and organizations to provide services for small business owners to help them grow and have support.
Okay, great. Thank you. Thank you so much, you guys. You guys did an amazing job promoting this session. Okay, moving on. If you are watching this webinar live, you can access cart closed captions by opening a separate browser window and visiting the URL shown on this slide, and that would be g.co/grow/Patia. If you click the gear icon at the top of the browser window, you can change the formatting of the captions to suit your preferences. Today, we have Angela providing live closed captioning for us. Angela, thank you so much for being here today. Here's my contact information. Everyone who attends today's session will be receiving a hard copy as well as a link to download today's presentation, so you don't have to worry so much about taking copious notes or remembering everything that I said, because the organization hosts, so however you heard about this webinar, whether it was the Tech Incubator at Queens or the Brown County Chamber or Adam-Brown County's organization, they are the ones who will be doing the follow-up. So however you registered, look out within 24 hours for a follow-up email from them, and they will be sending you a hard copy of the deck as well as the link to download the recording. Now, please be patient. Many times, the minute I get off the webinar, you guys are emailing me. Please give them at least 24 hours. I do have to get the information to them before they can send the information over to you. Okay, so in today's workshop, I'll explain why it's critical for retailers to sell online. We know, of course, that your potential customers need to be able to find your products. And to help with that, I'll start by talking about 2 Google products, a business profile and Google Merchant Center. After that, I'll introduce one e-commerce tool, Shopify, and show you the basics of setting up an e-commerce website. As always, I'll close out the workshop with a quick recap and additional resources that you can access on your own time. So let's get started. Now, every day, hundreds of millions of people, and all of us on this webinar bridge included, turn to Google to find, discover, and shop. And this is not only limited to Google search. People discover products when they browse Google's news feeds, when they watch videos on YouTube, and also when they're checking their personal email using Gmail. Now, research shows that online shopping is on the rise. In fact, shoppers go online first in 60% of shopping occasions. Online shopping also drives visits to stores. A global survey found that 45% of shoppers buy online and then pick up in store, and I think that we can all relate to that, correct? Now, retailers need to show their products online because it drives sales. 58% of global purchases were prompted by something that a shopper saw online. And what we know is that people want to be educated. They want to know before they actually visit stores. And many of us, quite honestly, are not even really visiting stores the way we used to pre-pandemic, right? We can all relate to that. What the stats show, however, is that 46% of shoppers confirm inventory online before they decide to make that trip to the store. The takeaway here is that you need to get your products online, even if your sales are still happening offline. So, did you know that the average online shopping journey has over 140 touch points? Each touch point influences what people buy and, most importantly, who they buy from. Now, the slide we're looking at together lists some touch points on Google where US-based customers interact and where they find out about products and sometimes services. Now, these touch points include Google search and images, a business profile on Google, the shopping tab, shopping ads, and experimental places like Google Lens. So how do you as a business owner take advantage of all of this online activity that's happening? How can you get your products to appear on Google? Let's start by reviewing the Google Business Profile. For anyone who isn't familiar with the free Google Business Profile, here's a really quick overview. A business profile helps your business stand out on Google Search and Maps. It's available for businesses that make in-person contact with customers, either at a physical store or in a specified service area. So on the slide we're viewing, we see the business profile for a retailer called the Spice House. It includes details about their Chicago store, such as their address, phone number, description, and much more. The slide also highlights detail that appears in their business profile, which is their products. In this example, the featured product is the Essential Spices Collection, and you can see a product photo, the name of the product, and a price range. If you were to click on the product, it would reveal even more details. Once you create or claim your business profile, you will be able to add your products as well. And we'll walk through this in the next few slides. By the way, I didn't mention this at the beginning. If anyone has any questions, just go to the questions box section of your control panel and you can type your questions in. I usually stop somewhere in the middle of the presentation to do a quick check-in, answer any questions, and then there's another opportunity at the end of the presentation. Now, before you can use many of Google's products and services, you need to be signed into a Google account. Google account is free, and if you have a Gmail address, then that is what's considered a Google account. If your business uses Google Workspace, and this was formerly called a G Suite, it's automatically a Google account as well. Now, what I recommend is that you do not use your personal Gmail account to manage your business services. You can either set up a separate Gmail account to manage your business, So usually business owners do their business name at gmail.com, or if you do not want to go through the trouble of setting up not yet another email address and you already have an existing address, so say info@yourbusiness.com or your name at yourbusiness.com, then what you can do is you can associate an existing address with Google so that it is recognized as a Google account. And to do this, you would go to google.com/accounts and choose the option that says use an existing account. Now, if you've already created a business profile, be sure to use the same email address to sign in every time so that you have easy access to it. For today's workshop, I'm going to skip ahead and assume that you're already signed into Google and that you've already created and verified your business profile. If you haven't done so yet, you would need to visit google.com/business to get started. So now we're going to walk through the steps of adding products to your business profile. So the first thing you would do is go to google.com/business. And you would log into your business profile account. Again, if you have not set it up, then you would have to backtrack and get started. Now, I'm going to assume that you have already done this and you have access to the dashboard. So on the dashboard that you see on the slide is what you will see if you are in the business account, right? On the left navigation, there is a link labeled Products. You would click that to access the product editor. Now you'll follow a few steps. First, you will need to upload a product photo, enter the product name, and create or choose a category. Now you do have the option to include a price range, description, and a button that can link to a product details page on your website. Once you've added these details, you would need to click Save. Now you should allow a few minutes for newly added products to show in line. In the meantime, you can preview how your product will appear to customers by clicking See It on Google. You can click on a product to make changes or delete them at any time. Now, this is what the same product looks like when you click on it from the business profile on Google. Now, on the slide, you can see the product information, including a button with the call to action, and it says Learn More. Clicking this button sends you to the product page on the Spice House's website. You guys, I'll be right back. There's somebody that's just sitting on my bell. Give me 1 second and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. The joys of working from home. Okay, so where were we? We were going through the process of adding the products, correct? Okay, so on the slide, you can see all the product information that was entered for this product, including the call to action button, right? Now, clicking on this button will send you to the product page on the Spice House's website. Please note there's no charge to add these products, and the clicks on the products are free as well. So the steps that we just went through, it's as simple as that. All it will take is your time, especially if you have a lot of products, right? And that's how you would add your products to your business profile on Google. But as I mentioned in the beginning, there are many other places on Google where your products can be found. And that is where you would need to do some work with Google Merchant Center. Now, retailers use Merchant Center to make their store and the product information available to shoppers across Google. Google Merchant Center is free, and you do not need to advertise to add your products here either. However, should you decide to advertise and want to show shopping ads on Google, you will need to first set up the Merchant Center account, and we'll speak more about that in a little bit. So what is Google Merchant Center? Merchant Center is a free tool that helps you upload your store and product data to Google to make it available for Google Shopping. By doing so, you also make your products available or eligible to have shopping ads as well as utilize other Google services. You will add your products in one place, Merchant Center. Then these products will become eligible to appear in multiple places across Google. Let's take a look at a few places where you may be able to see them. First, products and extra product information may appear in Google's search results. Now on this slide, we're looking at a series of product images with information beneath at the top of the Google search results page. These are shopping ads, and we'll talk more about that later. Now below these ads are Google's organic search results. Google's organic results typically include basic information such as a title, a description, and a link. Some of them also show additional results. Now this extra information is called a rich snippet, and a snippet can really help a product to stand out. Now in this slide, we're looking at some products from our friends at the Spice House. And by the way, all of these businesses that are used in Google presentations are actual small businesses just like you. So, by all means, after the presentation, do some searching, find their listings, check out their website. And I really like that because it helps to make the information that more relatable, because, you can see for yourself that a small business is successfully utilizing these products. Okay. So the product that we're seeing from the Spice House is their ground fenugreek seeds. You will notice that it has some extra information like a star rating. That's called a review snippet. It also includes product details like price and the availability of the seeds. So how can you help Google add this kind of extra information to your products when they appear in Google's search results? First, you should talk to your website developer about adding what's called structured data markup to your website. So what is that? In a nutshell, structured data is a labeling system added to your web pages, and the labels help Google and other web platforms to automatically understand your site and pull information like product data from the code. So in the example we're looking at, we can see that we are able to see the product's availability, right? So that is something that would have been pulled using structured data markup. And it also, is helpful because then your potential customer knows that the product is available for sale. As a bonus, if you have structured data on your website, it can be used to automatically update your products in Merchant Center. Now, of course, I can spend the entire workshop getting really technical and talking about this, but I have to move on. If you have a web developer that you're working with, just mention that you're interested in having structured data markup added to your website, and they should know exactly what you mean. The next place that your products can show up once they're added in Merchant Center would be in the Shopping tab. So let's do a little experiment. People like to do this as I'm talking about the different places so that they can actually see what I'm talking about. And there are two ways that you can check out to see what kinds of products are showing up in the Shopping tab. First, just going to google.com, doing a search for a product. If you are a business owner that sells products of your own, I would highly recommend that you do a search for the kinds of products that you sell. And what you're looking for is to see if your competitors are showing up in the Shopping tab. And if they are, then now you know why, and you know that from a competitive standpoint, you have some work to do. So go to google.com, do a search. I'm going to say do a search for summer sundresses or something like that. I'm just making it up. Then click on the Shopping tab and see what businesses or products are showing up. The second way to do this kind of search is to just go to shopping.google.com enter your same search term for your product, and see what's showing up there as well. That's kind of like the shortcut instead of going from the face of the Google page. You can also see products in Google Images. So again, you would go to google.com, do that search, click the Images tab at the top to see the results. Or the shortcut way would be to go to images.google.com and do the same thing. You can tell that the image in the results is connected to a product for sale if it has what's called a product label. That's called a product annotation. And this label usually indicates that you can click the product to get more information or to buy. Try it. And like I said, I recommend doing these types of searches for the kinds of products that you sell. It's a great way of getting some competitive information in terms of figuring out if your top competitors are utilizing these tools. Moving on to Google Lens. How many of you have heard of it or are actively using Google Lens? With Google Lens, you can use your phone's camera to search in a visual way. It's basically like searching with an image instead of words. Now, this is an example of an experimental place where products may appear on Google. The example that we're looking at, again, back to our friends at Spice House, there is a search that is being done using a product photo from the Spice House's website. And guess what? Google Lens suggested similar photos from the Spice House's website, including links to the corresponding product pages. Now, Google Lens, to be honest, probably won't give your products the same volume of exposure as a regular Google search, but it's an example of how Google tries really hard to show relevant products in places where customers just may be looking. If you want to try Google Lens, you can download the app from Google Play for Android devices, of course for the App Store for iPhones, and Google Lens is also available in the camera app of most Android devices, and it's part of the Google Photos app as well. Last but not least, Merchant Center helps retailers advertise products on Google. Now, you've probably seen shopping ads, especially around the holidays, right? They are more than text. They usually incorporate a product photo, title, price, store name, and much more. Shopping campaigns can be used to promote online and local inventory. Local inventory ads help nearby shoppers know what you have in stock and can potentially drive more sales to your physical store. In order to run these types of ads, you need a Merchant Center account. So the screenshot we're viewing shows the search results for Buy Fenugreek, the Spice House. And you can see that there's a display of product photos, the store, as well as price. So here's the basic overview setup process for Merchant Center. You would have to create a Merchant Center account, add your products, connect Merchant Center to Google Ads, and then create shopping ad campaigns if you are interested in doing shopping ads. But again, you don't have to do this, especially when you are just learning about the product. Okay, so how does this all work? First, you'll need to start by creating a free Merchant Center account. Then you'll need to add your products. Once those products are added correctly, those products will appear across Google. Now, Merchant Center has a really helpful setup guide that I highly recommend that everybody reviews before you sit down to do this. This way, you will know exactly what you need to do when you are ready to move forward and add your products. And to access the Merchant Center guide, you will go to g.co/Merchant Center setup. Again, that's g.co/Merchant Center setup. In the next couple of slides, I will walk you through a basic overview of the setup process and how this all works. So the first step is to create your account, right? And to do so, you will visit g.co/Merchant Center. Like I said a few slides back, to have access to all of Google's digital products, you need to sign into your Google account. So the next step is you'll sign into your Google account. Now, if you're already using an account to manage your business because you've already been doing Google Ads or you've set up a business profile, make sure that you sign into that same account using those same account credentials. Next, you'll enter information about your business, including the name, of course, and that's what potential customers will see when your products appear on Google, the country where your headquarters is located or where your business is registered, and your time zone. And the time zone is used for reporting purposes. Now you would need to select the checkout options that apply to your business. Merchant Center lists 3 options. Selecting on your website means that customers can see your products on Google, but they'll be directed to your website to actually complete their purchases. Selecting on Google means customers can see your products on Google and buy them there as well. This is very handy if you are still working on setting up your website. Now, in order for this to work, you would need to use a service called Buy on Google to complete the transaction. Please note that the service is still in pilot, so you would need to stay tuned for more information as it becomes more widely available. And finally, if you select at your local store, customers can see your products on Google, but are then directed to visit your local store to buy them. Now, you can change these checkout options in your account at any time. Next, you can link Merchant Center to third-party platforms. This can simplify the setup process for your Merchant Center account. Shopify is an option, as you can see highlighted there, and we'll talk more about that platform in a little bit. You can add more tools and integrations at any time. And we also see that PayPal is another third party that easily integrates with Merchant Center. Now, this is the Merchant Center overview page. If you're just setting up a Merchant Center, prompts are displayed at the top to help you to complete the setup. And I would highly recommend that, you set aside some time to really focus on this. You don't want to be rushing things. You don't want to be skipping things just to complete it. Review the setup guide first so you know everything that you need to have. And then, block off a good 1 to 1.5 to 2 hours so that you can take your time and go through all of the steps and complete the setup properly. Now, the left navigation also includes products, which links to the area where you can add and manage products. Then there's performance, where you're able to view reports, and growth, where you can access suggestions for improving product visibility and driving more sales on Google. If you selected the options on your website or at your local store, you must verify your website before your products can appear on Google. Now, there are 3 ways to do that. You can use Google Analytics or Tag Manager, or add an HTML file to your website. And I'm going to assume that you're working with a web developer, unless you're tech savvy yourself, and that person could help you out when it comes to this step. However, if you use Shopify for your e-commerce store, the website is automatically verified when connected to Merchant Center. So if you're using Shopify, this process actually is a lot easier for you. Now that Merchant Center is set up, the next step would be to add your products. And you would do so by clicking Products in the left navigation, and this is what's highlighted in the screenshot. You can then click the button to add individual products, multiple products, or a combination of both. Now, when you add an individual product, you will enter information about it in Merchant Center. Some fields like title, link, and price are required. There are lots of optional fields as well, including variants. For example, if you sell products with multiple sizes and colors, you can include the variants with the product rather than creating a separate entry for each option. Products that are individually added must be edited individually as well, so you want to be careful about making that decision. You can use a combination of individual product uploads and product feeds. Now, as a best practice, product feeds make it easier to add multiple products to Merchant Center. and we will take a look at that next. In case you're wondering, a product feed is a file that contains all of the information about the products you want to show on Google. The file includes information about your products called attributes. To create a product feed in Merchant Center, you will start by entering some basic information like language. Next, you'll give the product feed a name. Now, this will not appear on Google, so we recommend that you give it a descriptive name so that you can identify it in your account, especially if you are going to be uploading different product feeds over time. Then you will need to choose how you want to add products to your product feed. If you're just getting started, one of the easiest ways is to use the Google Sheets with the template provided. And this is what's selected here on the screenshot. If you select Google Sheets, Merchant Center displays two options: use a template or select another spreadsheet. If you chose the second option, it would mean that you have an existing product feed that is set up to work in Merchant Center. But for the purpose of this workshop, we're going to assume that you're starting from scratch. So in that case, you would choose the template. The slide shows the Google Sheets Merchant Center template before products are added. There is a link to instructions for creating your feed as well as product feed specifications. And again, I highly recommend that you review all of the instructions first so you don't have to worry about correcting mistakes later on. Before you create this feed, make sure that you have everything that you need available. The detail on the slide highlights the columns in the spreadsheet. Each column corresponds to a product attribute. Now, Merchant Center has specific requirements. For example, the availability attribute accepts three options: in stock, out of stock, and pre-order. Now, I know that this sounds a bit technical, but at the end of the day, you guys, you are simply creating a spreadsheet with the product information that you want to display across Google. Now, once the Merchant Center setup is complete, your products can appear on Google in many places, including the places we reviewed at the beginning. And to recap, there were Google Search, Images, Shopping, Shopping Ads, and experimental places like Google Lens. Now, there's still an important topic that we haven't addressed yet. How do you actually sell your products on your own website? Many small businesses use third-party e-commerce tools to power their online stores, and there are many great options available. Today, we'll introduce one option, that would be Shopify. Now, you may remember that during the Merchant Center setup, there was an option to connect to Shopify, and I said that if you are using Shopify, it kind of makes the integration a lot easier. This connection allows you to skip that website verification step that sounded very technical. So in the next section of the workshop, we will take a look at Shopify. But before we move on to Shopify, let me see if there are any questions in the Q&A box that I can answer. Okay, so lots of questions. Perfect. Will we get a copy emailed to us? Yes. Whoever you registered through, so whether it was the Tech Incubator or Adams-Brown County's Economic Opportunities or the Brown County Chamber of Commerce, they will be sending you your follow-up email with a copy of the deck and a link to download the recording. Okay, next person. My question is, for my product to be seen under shopping, am I to list in Google Merchant Center? Yes, everything starts with Google Merchant Center. Your products will not show up on Google unless they have been entered into Merchant Center. Okay, next question. I see information that does not belong to our business when I look under shopping and images. Is there any way to remove these items? So Lynn, this is kind of a loaded question. Are they showing up being connected to your specific business? If that is the case, then that information is being pulled from someplace. So the starting point would be to figure out where Google is pulling that information from. Is it an outdated website? Did somebody set up Merchant Center and maybe it's outdated? I'm not really sure. This is the kind of question that needs, some more digging around. If you're interested, you can shoot me an email after the workshop so that I can actually see what you're describing. Because if there's a connection to Google, that means that Google is pulling the information from someplace. And so if you want it removed from Google, the starting point would be to figure out where that information is being pulled from. Next question. Can we upload our Shopify store on Google instead of entering them directly into Google Shopping? No. So the process is what it is. You have to, if you want your product to show up on Google, the process is that you have to make a connection with Merchant Center. And that person left anyway, so they didn't even hear my answer. Next. If the URL for the website verification process your web, yes, you have to verify the website, and your website URL is what will need to be used. Okay, guys, thank you for your questions. I will keep pushing on to focus on Shopify, and there'll be another opportunity to ask questions at the end. Okay, so moving on to Shopify. Small businesses leverage the Shopify platform to grow their customer base, develop better customer relationships, grow their sales, and of course, grow their small businesses. Now, you guys let me know in the questions box, is there anybody that's in attendance today who uses Shopify for their e-commerce store? I'm just curious. Before we get into the nitty-gritty of setting up Shopify and adding your products, it's helpful to review what Shopify is for those who may not be familiar and why it exists. Then we'll talk about how you can easily and quickly start selling your products regardless of your knowledge base. And then the last piece we'll touch on is how to connect Shopify and Google to make sure that your products are getting found. Now, understanding Shopify starts with understanding its mission, which is to make commerce better for everyone. The company believes that every business owner should have the best tools to compete and thrive against much larger businesses. Shopify was founded in Canada 15 years ago and is now being used in 175 countries. The platform is used by 1 million merchants who collectively have generated over $155 billion in sales using the platform. During the COVID-19 pandemic in 2020, many business owners found themselves needing to pivot to stay afloat. We can all relate to that, right? Many offline-only retailers turned to online sales, and some have come out on the other side even stronger thanks to diversifying their business. Shopify allows you to sell your physical products in your own personalized e-commerce website. Here's an example, back to our friends at the Spice House, of what a Shopify site can look like. You may notice that the site looks super professional, is easy to navigate, and most importantly, the pages load quickly. This is really, really important these days, you guys, because everybody is browsing using their cell phone. The majority of website traffic, as we know, is coming from cell phones. So if your pages do not load quickly, people on cell phones usually abandon websites in 3 to 5 seconds unless the pages are loading quickly. So you can't afford to have a website that loads slowly. Also, importantly, the site is going to show up on Google. Shopify sites are designed to convert at the highest possible rate, meaning that they generate the most sales per visitor to your site. So here's how you would get started with Shopify. You would go to shopify.com and create an account. And you do this the same way you create an account on any online service by entering your email address and clicking the button that says Start Free Trial. Once you have an account, you'll be able to log into Shopify from any device as long as you have an internet connection because it's a cloud-based service. Once you set up an account, you'll be asked a few questions to help Shopify get to know you and your business better. Once you've filled out these questions, click Next, and you usually have the option to skip this process. I recommend, if this is the first time that you're doing this, again, block off some time. Don't skip any options. All of these questions are designed to help you to succeed on the platform. And so the more information that you can give them about you and your business, the more help that you can get from them in terms of best practices, in terms of examples of how other businesses are using the platform, and also tips and tricks of how you can possibly showcase your products to get them sold more successfully. Once you create your account, you'll be logged into your admin section. Think of your admin like the cockpit or control center for your website. From here, you're able to modify themes, add products, view and fulfill orders, create email marketing campaigns, view reports, and much more. You also will need to fill in delivery and pickup options, your tax settings, terms of service, and return policy. But first things first, let's talk about how you get your products online. When we talk about products on Shopify, we don't only mean physical products, right? You can also have digital goods that you sell, like an online course. So your products may also be services that you have packaged and are available for sale. When you add products to Shopify, they'll automatically be ready to sell across all of your channels. If you're an established business and you already have a spreadsheet of your inventory, you have the option to upload that spreadsheet. But let's say you're adding a brand new product. On the left side of the dashboard, you see where that product is highlighted. This is where you would go. Clicking Add Product will bring up a form with lots of fields. You don't need to include every detail, but you definitely should consider a few key things. Make sure to give your product a name, of course, a description, and add any relevant details that may make sense. For example, we're looking at the Spice House's product called Ground Jamaican Allspice Berries. And in the description, you can see that they have taken the time to add some information about how allspice is harvested and what gives it its name. You also want to make sure to add your product images. As we all know, visuals are a key factor in whether a customer decides to make a purchase or not. Finally, you want to add a price for your product. And in this example, the Spice House sells their ground Jamaican allspice berries for $6.99. Once you've submitted these details, your product will be ready to sell across all channels, including Google. So let's look at how you connect Google to Shopify. Shopify allows you to connect to your customers wherever they happen to be. On your website, in store, a third-party platform, social media channels, and the platform helps you to manage sales across all of those various channels. You want to connect Shopify to Google because Google is where people go looking for things and it's free. To add Google, click on the sales channel in the sidebar and click on the plus sign next to Google. When you add Google as a sales channel, it will sync in real time with your Shopify account. You can make changes in products in either Google or Shopify, and it will sync across all your channels, which is pretty cool. The screenshot you're seeing, you will see the information that Shopify will give you about syncing with Google. Next, you will click Add Sales Channel to proceed. To set up to the Google channel, you'll need to sign into your Google account. And remember, the Google account is the Google account that you have either set up to manage your digital marketing tools associated with Google, or the account that you have associated as a Google account. To use Shopify's Google channel, your Shopify store needs to meet a few requirements to sync with the Google Merchant Center. So this is why we spent so much time reviewing Merchant Center in the beginning, because Merchant Center is the key to having your products show up and to having this connection be a successful one. So your Shopify store needs to be set up online and published. Let's backtrack a little bit. Shopify offers a 14-day free trial. One of the tips that I like to give when I give this workshop is that you should not sign up for Shopify until you're absolutely ready to add your products. Because what you could do is that you can take that entire 14 days to create your store, make sure all your products are uploaded, so that when the free trial ends and you have to start paying, you're actually sell ready and you can begin to make your revenue, which will then pay for the service. So your Shopify store needs to be set up online and published. Relevant payment and contact information needs to be added. You need to have your refund policy, terms and service up and running, and you also need to indicate the currencies that you will be selling in. Once store requirements are met, it's time to sync your product feed. Again, you'll need a Merchant Center account to do this, so you would click on the Get Started button to link or create a Merchant Center account. Again, if you've done the process in the way this workshop is set up, you don't have to worry about backtracking at this point to create a Merchant Center account because you would have created it already. Now, this will take you to a page to connect your Google Merchant Center account directly within the Google channel. This step is important to make sure that your shop, in this case, the Spice House's shop, and the product information is in Google and can be surfaced to shoppers across Google that are searching for specific items. The Google channel imports your existing product data from Shopify to Google's Merchant Center. Now, remember that ground Jamaican allspice berries product that was added to the store earlier? The Google channel will automatically fetch that data, so you don't have to enter it twice or worry about making mistakes. And this is why the person who is saying that their product showing up associated with the business that should not be there, this is why you need to investigate to see what is connected to Google, because Google doesn't just make up these things. It's pulling the information from somewhere. So that would be the starting point. Now, it is free to show your products in Google Merchant Center. And of course, once you do that, you will also have the option to advertise those products with shopping ads. But again, this is not required. Now you've linked your Merchant Center account to Shopify. However, at this stage, the products are not syncing yet. To do that, you need to select the market or country that you will be selling in, as well as your shipping settings. Finally, you have the option to connect to your Google Ads account to get started with shopping ad campaigns. And again, this is something that you guys may want to consider as the holidays are approaching. Now, these are paid ads that help your products appear in front of shoppers on YouTube, Gmail, Google Search, and across Google. To set up a smart shopping campaign, you will simply sync your products and set a daily budget. Google will optimize your campaign and choose the best time and place to show your products to shoppers. Now, I know that we've covered a lot of ground today, and it's probably all sounding, right? Information overload. But like I said, don't worry. You'll have the recording. You'll have a copy of the presentation, and you just have to take things step by step. Remember that both Google and Shopify are designed to make it as easy as possible to get started. You don't have to be good to start. You just have to start to be good. So a few words of encouragement here. All right, we're almost out of time. Let's wrap up today's workshop with a few more resources. First, I'd like to introduce you to Grow My Store. This is another free tool designed for retailers who sell online, in-store, or both. And you can access the tool by visiting g.co/growmystore. As long as you have a website, it can analyze and assess the customer experience. The report evaluates a range of factors such as product information, store details, personalization, and website performance. The tool also measures how fast your site loads, its mobile friendliness, and whether it's secure or not. You will then receive a personalized report with tips for making site improvements. If you'd like to watch a 3-minute video tutorial, you can visit the Grow with Google Quick Help playlist by going to g.co/grow/quickhelp and look for the video entitled How Can I Improve My Retail Website? Again, the video is How Can I Improve My Retail Website? Next up is another free tool called Local Opportunity Finder. And you can access this tool by going to g.co/local opportunity finder. This tool helps small business owners improve their presence on Google Search and Maps by analyzing their business profile on Google. And again, if you want to watch a quick tutorial on how this works, you will go to the playlist again at g.co/grow/quickhelp, g.co/grow/quickhelp, and look for the video entitled How Can I Get the Most Out of My Business Profile on Google? You can also continue learning about the ways to grow your business using Grow with Google on Air. This free resource can help you grow your digital skills and help you stay connected and productive while working or managing your business remotely. And to get access to on-demand and live programming, you can visit g.co/growonair to learn more. Okay, when you get a copy of this presentation, you have some extra time, please toggle to this slide and scan the QR code or go to the URL to fill out this survey. This is feedback for Google. They really want to hear from you guys. They want to make sure that the information being shared is as impactful as intended. And if you have any feedback in terms of additional programming that you would like to have access to, this is your opportunity to let them know as well. Okay, thank you for attending today's workshop. We did pretty good in terms of time. At this point, before I let you get on with the rest of your day, I will take another look in the Q&A box. All right, so let's go down. I answered those questions. Okay, so when you're selling digital products, what kind of product images work best visually in the merchant store? Well, yeah, you know, digital products or services are a little tougher to sell than tangible products, right? Because you can't do a photo shoot or something like that. So I would say if there's some way that you can package the digital product, like if it's a course or something like that, you know, working with a graphic designer to come up with some attractive packaging, or maybe using a picture that depicts whatever the course is about, would be the best way, I would say, for you to, you know, present that digital product in the most attractive way possible, right? You'd have to be creative with this, because with a digital product, you really do not have the wiggle room or the ability or the advantage of having a tangible product to showcase. Okay, any more questions? Did I talk about fulfillment and shipping of products? No, I did not. That aspect of things will solely have to be handled by you. And so, as you recall, the option would be for them to purchase on your website, or come into the store, or even if they're checking out on Google when it comes to fulfillment. A lot of people that use Shopify use drop shipping. There are people who ship the inventory themselves. That is a decision that's left up to you as a business owner in terms of how you want to handle your fulfillment. Many people say they don't get the item, so I'm not really sure who's responsible for your shipping. If you're using drop shipping, then maybe you would want to, this sounds like a drop shipping situation, because if you're shipping the items yourself, then, you know, there shouldn't be a reason why people are not receiving your items. But if they're not getting the items, that may be your drop shipper that's dropping the ball. Can you sell resale items in the merchant store? I don't see why not. You know, I don't know what kind of store that you have, but you know, as long as you're being transparent in terms of what's going on, there's no rule that, you know, everything has to be brand new. There are lots of people who sell vintage items, and they show up on Google and Merchant Center. So yes. Natalie, if you want to know Shopify fees, please go to the website, shopify.com, and there's a whole chart that tells you exactly how much the Shopify costs. Yeah, you can sell vintage items. There's no problem with that. Okay, you guys, great questions. At this point in time, I would like to give our organization co-hosts another opportunity to make any closing remarks that they may have, and then I'll have you guys get back to the rest of your day. So, Araba, did you have anything else that you wanted to say? Ariba, sorry.
I just want to say that you did a great job and it was really informative. And thank you everybody for joining. If you guys have any questions, feel free to ask. I put my email in the chat and we'll be more than happy to help you out. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Lisa, over to you.
Thank you, Patia, for presenting today, and thank you everyone for showing up for the training, and have a great rest of your day. And if you haven't registered for tomorrow's training, the digital analytics, we do have one tomorrow also, so check that out.
Okay, great. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for being here. I did see one last question pop up. Oh, I was just saying thank you for the webinar. I'm glad that you enjoyed it. Everyone enjoy the rest of your day. And yes, there is another workshop tomorrow, so hopefully some of you will be joining us for that as well. Enjoy the rest of your day, everyone. Be well and safe.